Search Assistant found a dog training business that you can buy with as little as $31,250 down and net $320,000 per year after making your monthly loan payments. Now, you could even buy this with zero down if you have really strong experience in the pet training industry and you plan to run this full time. So these numbers assume a 10-year, 11.5%, 2.5% down SBA loan to buy this $1,250,000 business that advertises around $530,000 in annual cash flow. This business provides comprehensive dog training, which includes boarding, daycare, and video and online training classes. Now, they've experienced really strong growth, with 2022 revenue reaching $933,000 and 2023 on pace to exceed $1.1 million. Now, growth is obviously great, but it can cause some problems when applying for your loan. So the bank is going to look at the most recent year's tax returns, and the bank generally has a view that the tax returns are the true numbers. Anything else is just made up, and we don't really know that we can trust it. So the bank is going to lend based on the prior year's tax returns, but the business owner wants to get paid on how the business is performing today. So in this instance, last year's cash flow was $322,000. So far in 2023, they're on pace to take home $530,000 this year. So in the eyes of the seller, the business makes $530,000, and really to you in the eyes of the buyer, the business makes $530,000. But in the eyes of the bank, it makes just over $320,000. Now, the good news on this one is that I think you can still get the financing done using that 322 number instead of the 530. The math can still work out. The coverage ratio still is above 1.25, which is really what the banks look for. But that number is going to depend on your personal finances. So they're going to subtract the salary that they think you need to just run your life. So if you have a working spouse that supports you fully, then that number is going to be relatively small because the bank's going to see that you don't need to take out a lot of cash to pay your bills. If you're the sole provider and you have high expenses and a big mortgage and lots of car payments, that's going to be a big number. So if it's a small number, this one probably squeaks through. If that's a big number, this deal probably doesn't get done. Now, you can work some of this out with seller financing, but when you do that, the seller's note needs to be on standby for 5 years. So the bank's going to look at that first 5 years of cash flow. So the seller might not be willing to do that. And then one last thing to watch out for is that this business was started in 2019. It's a pretty short time period to be selling the business. So that makes me think that the owner is probably working a lot of hours in the business, that they're starting to feel a little burned out to be selling this quickly. So check out our Search Assistant to find more like this, or reach out if you want to buy a business together.